being here and tuning in. But I am at this amazing conference. Oh my goodness. And I am so sad that I missed the first couple of days, well, the first full day and half of this day for it, because I didn't really know if I was going to attend or not. I went to a mini conference that this same organizer put together here in Charlotte not too long ago, and it was really good, but it was just, I don't know. And it was kind of like the prelude to the main conference. And I've never been to any of her events before. A dear friend of mine shared her information with me and told me about it, but I just didn't know what to expect. And I know that she is a motivator, transformation type of speaker. And even at the previous pre-conference, she had some dynamic speakers there. She did. She absolutely did. Um, Great networking and such, but I still just didn't know if I wanted to go all in and go to this 3-day conference that she had. I didn't know if I wanted to, devote that much time. And have you ever, heard of something, you knew that it may be good or whatever, but you wasn't sure if you wanted to dedicate that much time to that particular event? Well, that's how I felt with this. But, a friend of mine was like, Sherri, do you want to come with me? Like, I broke down and I'm gonna do it. And then it turned out that she couldn't come, and I was dragging my feet on getting a ticket. So I just, got her ticket. And listen, I really wish I was here for all full days. There's still one full day left. I only was able to come to just a quarter of today, and what I received, it blew me away. Oh my goodness. Listen, there's that intentional serendipity. It's the things that come across your desk, things that come across your mind, that is just right at the right time, is when you need it. And the information that was shared by the 3 speakers that I was able to hear, as well as the organizer, so really it was 4 speakers, was information that just hit right on time. Some of it was even aligned with meetings I recently had as of yesterday. I was like, wait, what's going on? And it it's just all confirmation of, that I'm doing the right thing, that I'm on the right track, and it makes it that much more exciting. I see Queen Talk, Let's Straighten It Out, is in the building. Hello to you. Thanks for coming in. Hansa is here. Great to see you. Hello. And I already connected with so many dynamic women. And one of the topics was about AI, Google, YouTube. And I met with a Google coach. What? Did you even know that Google had a program for individuals that possibly wanted to be a Google coach? And she uses Gemini, so some of the prompts that she was given, they gave us prompts. I missed all day yesterday, and they were talking about content. I would have loved to have seen that. Oh my goodness, to have been part of that. But today, I caught the tail end of the person from Google that was talking about AI, Gemini, content. She had us putting prompts into Gemini. I had never used Gemini before. I'm very familiar with it, but I hadn't used it. And so seeing how Gemini, the information and how they, give it back, I was like, yo, this is good. And so I'm definitely going to look more into that. And she's based right here in Charlotte, which is really cool. Hi, Sassy. Hello. Oh, I see 26 is in the building. Thank you for being here. I hope that you got the attention that you wanted. Antonio H, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Mohammed, hello to you. I appreciate you all for being here. Sassy, I hope you've been having a great Friday. The weather here is phenomenal. It is 92 degrees right now in Charlotte. Can you believe that? Oh, it's such a beautiful sunny day it is. But I'm just trying to determine if I'm going to go to the mixer tonight. Here at the hotel that the conference is at, because listen, it's some dynamic women. I know I can get caught up in some amazing conversations, and I really want to be fresh tomorrow for the full day of knowledge that's going to be dropped. But the Google coach is here in Charlotte too, and so I got her contact information. She does one-on-one coaching. Because I came to this conference, I'll be able to receive that. She says she'll do one-on-ones, group coaching, events, webinars, all kinds of things. And I'm excited for that, because I want her to give me some good tips and tricks about navigating these YouTube worldwide, streets, canals, oceans, all of that. But yeah, it was great. She also provided video ideas, and you know, to make your banner, if you have a YouTube banner, to make it clean. And I knew that, and I hope that mine's is clean looking to y'all. But also the importance of having that intro video, and how when you have that intro video, a person that first comes to your channel, once they see it, they won't see it there anymore. Thank you for shouting out everyone. Sassy, wow, it's 68 degrees and cloudy, but 68 for you, I know it's, you know, that's like a heat wave, right? At least it's not raining. And I see Loving Myself is in the building. Hello, how are you doing? Great to see you. And you know what? She was also talking about text overlay and how important that is. And that's really being ADA compassionate, I want to say, because in a lot of cases, you have to be more ADA compliant. You know, there's all different types of people with different types of disabilities. And if you're trying to reach a broader audience, you want to be inclusive. And so, you know, people can put closed caption on and things of that nature, but she was saying whenever possible to have text overlay on your things. And she was talking about space, lighting, and sound, and how natural light is the best. So here I am in natural light, and I hope that you all can hear me well, for sure. Let's see. She started talking about YouTube ads and the different layers and levels of them. I didn't really take a lot of notes on that. I probably should have, but I figured when I have my conversation with her, I'll get more in depth with that. And I think is Mike or McKay is in the building. Hello to you. Let's see. Another person was talking about being brand ready and how to show up powerfully for corporate opportunities. You know, she was saying that so many people play and get the low laying fruit, you know, the branches that are been down low so you can get it, but you really want to reach higher. And getting corporate accounts it's not easy, but it's not enough of us going for it. So, you know, she was like, corporate money is out there. They're looking for different consultants, vendors that can come in. And especially if you are a corporate trainer, not just a presenter, not just a teacher, but a trainer on topics that will be relevant for the workforce. And, you know, considering the way that things are, people are always looking for emotional intelligence, time management, work-life balance, or just how to balance, how to manage up, how to supervise more effectively and efficiently. There's so many different topics out there. All you got to do is determine what problem can you solve and, you know, create something around that for your submissions. But in order to submit, you have to have a website, and your website needs to be clean. It needs to be, you know, something that's not too busy, she was saying, not too many colors. She works for a firm up in, I believe it's in New York. She's from Harlem and lives in New Jersey, but I believe she works for a firm in New York that does, you know, like a Fortune 100 company. And what she does, she's the only Black woman of color, Black woman that does it in the country for her particular role. And, you know, just really understanding your value, not shortchanging yourself, is going to be really important. And when you are doing your training and development, and this is the type of trainer that I am for sure, I always look to see how, you know, I can transform a person. You can motivate, you can inspire, yes, but it's all about the transformation. And the person that I was going to meet here at this conference that was unable to come, I can't wait to give her the overview, because she just wrote a great little quote on her own quote on LinkedIn about the importance of transformation. So I know if she was here today, she would have been like, oh my goodness, like I was just talking about that. You know, I know me personally, if I go to a workshop, a conference, or if I have to sit through a presentation or a training, be it 30 minutes, an hour, all day, whatever the case, I want to come away with some nuggets. I want to be transformed. I want to be motivated, inspired, yes, but I want it to transform who I am and how I do things, you know. you're never too old to learn. You're never too experienced to learn. And so that was definitely something they had us do at the end of today, was to write down an action step that we are going to take right away. And we wrote them on post-it notes, and we put them on a board that they had, so that, throughout tomorrow's sessions, we'll be able to walk past and read them. But listen, it was so exciting. I just can't believe that I was only here for just a couple of hours, maybe 1 hour, 2 hours, and well, definitely not one, and all the nuggets that I was able to glean from it. Mental awareness is a big thing. There's a lot of contracts out there for that. Some companies are hiring people to, for 2 to 5 years to, work with their workforce, people that work for their companies, for sure. Thank you, Sassy. Thank you. I appreciate that. Listen, yesterday, for the first time, I did boots on the ground. No bueno. I never did it, especially with a bunch of people, and I was so excited to do it. And they gave us these huge fans. Listen, no one ever talks about this. My fan ended up breaking. I guess I was flipping it and flipping it, just flipping it too hard. And some of the people around me, because I kept bumping into everyone, I just started doing cha-cha. I started doing running in place, jumping. I was just having a good time, but it was funny. But anyway, my fan broke. But some people were like, "You just want to do this for the fan, don't you?" I was like, "Yes, I do." Okay, so AI. So they were talking about AI, and some people are still against AI, and I know that they'll come around, because people were against email, people were against Facebook, people were against technology, cell phones, microwaves. All the time when something new comes up, especially within the technology realm of things, people are slow to the trigger, and they come to it kicking and screaming. And so they were talking about how AI is not going to replace you. The person who knows AI will. And I was just talking to a couple of people on my team about AI, and I was like, you really need to dig deep and learn all that you can about AI and how it can help you what you do, because listen, AI is about to, it could do some things. What? And so they were talking, especially the woman with Google. Now, this was the other person, but the other person that is in, from New York, New Jersey, was saying how, again, AI is not going to replace you. The person who knows AI will. So you could not like it, but you should understand it, because when you need it, you're going to need to understand it at that point. I didn't record Loving Myself. This conference is exclusive, and they actually had you sign a waiver in the beginning that you wouldn't record. So they really wanted people to be just laser focused on the information and glean it. But I did record an overview, like my experience so far with it, for her particular website. And this lady was saying how she is a serial sower. She sows into things, into people, places, things, and so she always expects a serial harvest. And I thought that was really cool. She was talking about the power of the seed. So if you're sowing good seeds and you're sowing many of them, there's a lot of power in that. And so that goes into your social capital, your network, your net worth, because all of that will increase it. So what kind of seeds are you sowing, and how many seeds are you sowing in places that possibly you don't need to be sowing them in? A lot of times people spin their wheels in the wrong place, in the wrong garden, on the wrong soil. So, today, moving forward, I want you to consider, where are you sowing your seeds? Are you getting a great harvest from them? And if you are, that's good. Then you're on the right farm, on the right path, you planting the right plants, right? But if you're not, you have to really check out, like maybe you have the wrong plants for that terrain, for that particular earth, and she didn't go into all of it like that, but that's what I took from that, is if you're going to, the power of the seed, and if you're going to be a sower, make sure that you're sowing in the right garden. But she also talked about business, because this woman, for her firm, she accepts or um, contracts the people that are interested in doing the work. She approves them. She approves them. And so she was saying that, people come all kinds of ways, and I know it. Did I just get dark? Let me see. Okay, I don't know. But so she was just saying how, if you are going to be vying for these contracts, for major corporations, and I'm saying this for RFPs. She didn't talk about RFPs. The next speaker that did, but just being a reviewer myself for RFPs and seeing the good, the bad, and the indifferent, I can understand the information they were sharing, and I hope people were able to pick it up. So it's more than understanding where the contracts are. It's more than understanding, like, oh, I'm gonna apply for this opportunity or whatever. You have to make sure that all your ducks are in a row. And so she was saying, for the business side of things, you have to make sure you have a professional email. She said, do not come to me with no Gmail email, no Yahoo email, no iCloud email. You should have a business email. So my business email is info@coach-sherri.com. So she was saying, if you want to try and get these contracts, you need to have that. You need to have an invoice system, not PayPal, not Cash App, but an invoice system. Business tax, of course, business telephone number, not a Google phone number, but a whole business phone number. A business address, not a P.O. box. She said a business address. Business insurance. Does your company have business insurance? For whatever type of business you have, there's all different types of insurances, and it's really not that expensive, but make sure that it has that. NDAs, have a website, again, with a clean corporate design. And she said that's the one thing that a lot of the companies that win contracts with her firm have, are really clean websites. And a DUNS number and diverse images. So with your website, don't just have all Black and brown people. Don't just have all white people. Don't just have all Latinx people. Make sure you have them all mixed in together, and all different age groups, especially if what you do supports all different ages. Now, if you are targeting just women, just youth, just, men or whatever, and what your age group is that you're targeting, then yes, have those images, reflect them, but you want their demographics, their backgrounds to all look different, because we all are different, but the same. Also, client testimonials. What are the clients that have worked with you said? What has their experiences been? And determine how you want to capture that information, and also put it on your website. And have a way that they can schedule appointments with you. So understand your calendar and check it on a monthly or a weekly or monthly basis in terms of available dates. But definitely check it on a daily basis to see if you have those appointments. Have a way where it will alert you when you get a new appointment. And also, if you are a speaker, you want to have a speaker's kit and a headshot. And let me tell you, headshots are really important, because when you sometimes have to apply to different things, it may be to be part of a program, you may be invited to do certain things. You may be invited to speak at a conference. I know for conferences, they ask for a bio and a headshot, because they're going to put it in their, they might put it on their schedule, their agenda. They also may put it in their PowerPoint so that it can be shown. So you have to be ready. You have to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And listen, one of the speakers was talking about that, and she was saying how she came up with that. Do you know how many people have said that? But she said her lawyer said if she puts her logo on top of it, then that'll be cool. So they also talked about how to win local government contracts, not federal, but state and local government contracts. And so her theme was Get in Formation. So she played Beyonce's Get in Formation song, which was really cool. And it was interesting. She gave a lot of data, which was good to hear. She compared New York, North Carolina, and Georgia's data in terms of how much they spend on contracts and how many minority and women-owned businesses receive those contracts. And New York, believe it or not, they give the most money out to minority-owned and minority and women business owned. That's not it. Minority owned and minority and women owned businesses. So, that was really interesting. But she was saying a lot of times, you got to look at the population, and of course New York is much bigger. But Atlanta gives the second most, and then North Carolina. But Atlanta and North Carolina, I mean, they're like less than 1%. I think Atlanta is, did I write it down? I don't think I did, but I know North Carolina is, as a whole, is less than 1%, which is not good. And also alliances, building up your alliances. And that's something that I've learned, as a reviewer for RFPs, is you may not be that one company, that sole company to bid for that particular contract. You may not be able to do everything that contract wants or needs you to do. So it's important to have a team. They don't have to be your employees, but people that with other businesses that you can say, you know what, you're good at this. This contract needs someone to do that. Can you be part of this? Give me some of your background, your bio, your work history, things like that, so that you can add them to the application so that they can see how strong you'll be because you have that subcontractor. And it was really cool for the example that the organizer of this conference gave, because she said one of her goals for 2024 was to get a local government contract. And there was one that she had applied for, but she had brought in like all these other people that she knew that could do certain parts of it. It was about probably like 4 of them altogether. And they actually won the contract, not for the amount. And that's the thing. You can bid for the total amount of a contract, but sometimes, the reviewers may say, well, they seem strong and they seem deserving, but maybe not for all of the contract because they're not as strong on certain parts of it. So we're going to only give them a percentage. So she said they got a third of the contract. And then there are other organizations or businesses that got, the other pieces. And it sounds like a real cool one. Oh my goodness. I was like, wow. Coach Mean Reen is in the building. What? How are you? It's good to see you. Wow. I'm doing well. I'm just going over, I'm doing this conference that I'm attending. I'm an attendee, and it's dynamic. I only caught a little bit of it today because I was booked and busy, and I just was able to pull away and hit some of the ending speakers and what the information they shared with all I needed. And it's interesting, especially the woman from Google, and she's a Google coach, and talking about AI, because I was literally just in a meeting yesterday about AIs for registered apprenticeship programs and how AI is going to have to we're going to have to look at how we can write them into those occupations. No matter what the position is, everyone's going to have some level of upskills on AI. And so hearing her talk about AI and the things that it can do, listen, I was like, it's incredible. It really is. It's nothing to be afraid of. But like the woman from Harlem was saying, well, let me see, where was this? She said, AI is not going to replace you, but the person who knows AI will. So what do you want? And that's what I would always tell my clients. They was always so scared about technology. Oh my goodness, Coach Sherri, technology is coming. This was like in 2022, 2021. And they were all like, oh my goodness, technology is going to take over. I don't think I'm gonna leave because this parking lot is getting full. I'm debating if I should go to this after hours thing with them. See, I get caught up just like I do on these lives, and next thing I know, it is 5 hours later, and I should have probably gotten a room here at where the conference is, because I don't know, I have to see if I'm gonna stay. So listen, yeah, See, I got all sides. Oh yeah, so clients would say, Coach Sherri, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I might lose my job. They're saying they're gonna have this new technology come in that's going to be able to do our work. Boom, boom, boom. And I always told them, you can't worry about that. You have to just stay relevant, skilled up, and that means looking around, looking around, seeing what else is coming, and how are you going to pivot. And that's the other thing about this conference at the end, like the wrap up. The organizer did an amazing wrap up talking about companies that some of them didn't think again, some of them did think again and were able to pivot, like Netflix, I forgot about that. Netflix used to mail you movies. Remember back in the day, they used to mail movies to you. Remember Redbox and all that? So Blockbuster thought Netflix was ridiculous with what they were doing. And then Netflix pivoted and they went to that Netflix platform that we know of today. And Blockbuster was like, I ain't going. And Blockbuster is not here no more, I had talked about that book by Adam Grant, where it's called Think Again, and how he talked about the BlackBerry phone and how BlackBerry thought Apple phones were ridiculous. What you mean you're gonna hit the screen and type? They wanted you to have that keyboard like the BlackBerries always had. That I loved me a BlackBerry. And so, even with technology, and this is basically what I was telling my clients back in 2021, 22, you can't worry about that. You have to think again, because if technology is coming, that means new jobs are going to come out too. Have y'all been catching my lives when I'm sharing opportunities, real opportunities that are open right now? And I'm trying to not get you anything that's like been posted over 10 days. I'm telling you, I get some of the most amazing positions across my desk that you're not going to find them on Indeed. You're not going to find them on ZipRecruiter. You're gonna find them right here. And I'm sharing with you the job description. I'm giving you tips on how to make yourself attractive for those opportunities. And typically they are in the 6-figure range. I'm sure one of them was for $516,000 a year. And it's really not that it's not that far-fetched for you. It's really not. If you have at least 6 years of experience in something and you add some digital marketing, some AI, if you are a content creator here on YouTube and you understand what it takes to be a content creator, and you doing things with your videos, with editing, with presenting, talking, interviewing, there's so much out here. There's so much out here. Yeah, people could be intimidated by the technology and about AI, but if you get comfortable instead of intimidated, the sky's the limit. So again, I love what she said. I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna say it till the wheels fall off. And I should know about heart by now, right? But listen, some things I don't try to memorize because I got a lot of things in my head. But AI is not going to replace you. The person who knows AI will. That's what she said. That's what she said, y'all. That's what she said. That's what she said. Nancy Perrin Ministries is in the building. Hello. Wow, I haven't seen you in a long time. It's so good to see you. Shell Maker, hello to you. Thanks for being here. Wow, it's great to see you. I start talking and I just lose, track of everything. Okay, so listen. Let me get some more information out here for y'all. Let me tell you. So I do reviews. I'm usually invited to be a reviewer for RFPs, right? And that's, for like government contracts. So people apply, if they want to, get the contract, whatever. And I promise you, I'm always like, dang, that's me right there. Like eyes closed could do it. And, I'm just going to leave it there. I'm not going to say anything else about that. That's neither here nor there. Sorry. My bad. I'm sorry. Hold on. Time out. Wait. And so one other thing that someone said was pivots are not failures. Sometimes people think, oh, well, I was doing it like this. Oh, what are people going to think? Or they're going to say you did it again. You didn't follow through, or, whatever it is. A pivot is not a failure. It's you being able to see the whole picture, the landscape, and understanding when it's time to shimmy over here a little bit. Y'all, I'm so tempted to to share the video of me dancing. I'm not gonna share that video I can't do it. And you know what? I'm telling you, I feel like it's my medicine because in my head, I am jamming. I'm getting down. I'm back in the day with it. But when when I looked at the video, I was like, what in the world? What in the world? I can't. Coach me, read. I can't. I'm not. No. Mm-mm. So listen, if I posted that video, I bet you it would get 1 million views. Absolutely. I've never seen anyone do boots on the ground like that. First of all, my fan broke. I was whipping it way too much. And at some point I got hot. So I just started fanning myself like, shoot, I'm hot. It was hot. I said, that's what the fan is for. The fan use hot up in here. So again, pivots are not thank you, Coach Marie. It's this natural light. And that's what one of them was saying. The Google coach, she said, make sure you have space, the sound is good, and natural light. That's what that's all about. She said, you could use the ring light. And that's what I typically use because especially at home, my garage is completely dark. But it's the natural light. It's just not gonna happen all the time. And I'm a little hot, so if I'm glowing, that's what that is. It's sweat. It's really sweat. So I want you to be good with pivoting and thinking again. If you are going down one path, if your business is handling this type of product or customer or industry, whatever the case may be, and you're finding that month after month is waning, it's decreasing, you need to look and think again and figure out how you can pivot. I loved when they were talking about products and how companies, and how corporations are always looking for great products for their employees. And so the woman who works for the corporation in New York was saying how she has a cupcake business and how she has so many corporate contracts all over the country for her cupcakes because they give it to the employees for Secretary's Day, Juneteenth, even just all these different occasions. And just making sure, I got so many notes. Dang, I wasn't even thinking. I didn't think I wasn't gonna make this video. I was really trying to get some food. Hold on. I gotta find some food. So listen. Also, when you collect your testimonies, especially if you have some type of product or service that you're doing and you get those testimonies, make sure that you write an article about it. I couldn't believe they said a blog. People, who's writing blogs? Well, people do write blogs still, but whatever industry that you're in, even if you are a coach, and you belong to an association, associations are always looking for content. They want to hear of how maybe someone did something a little different, but you want to make a case study out of your testimonials and create an article from it, create a white page from it, especially if you've implemented a new tactic, a new strategy, around it, and get it published. And on your resume, on your bio, have your published articles listed. I had to redo my update, because remember, you need to update your resume twice a year. I don't care what kind of business you in. I don't care if you've been on your job for 30 years. If you're not planning on doing nothing, going anywhere, you still need to update your resume for 30 years. And I mean, twice a year. And I'm saying that for many reasons. Let me tell you. There was this woman that I know that passed away suddenly. She was in her early 60s. And I mean, I'm talking about suddenly in May of 2020 from COVID. And she didn't tell anyone she had it. So her daughter was scrambling around trying to figure out what her mother does or did to put in an obituary. People know who you are personally, but your people don't really know who you are professionally. So that's part of your legacy. What you do is your legacy. That's legacy work, right? And your family members, they're not going to know to what extent you do. They just don't. You don't talk like that, I'm sure. I always tell my family, you don't know what I do. And they don't, not really. So you have to have your resume updated so that if something, God forbid, which is inevitable, will happen, you have that so that is helpful. But you also have that because if you're building your business, you want to have speaking engagements. They're going to want your bio. They may want your resume. You may be invited to be part of special programs, and they want your resume, they want your bio. So on that, you want to have your list of, publications that you're in. And so I was updating my resume the other day, yesterday, I think, or something, because I always say January and June, right? I was like, I got some published work. Like it feels good, and it's all relevant to who I am, what I do. And so whatever it is that you do, make sure you try to see how are you doing it different. What impact are you having? And write about it. It doesn't have to be pages and pages long, but write about it. And if you take pictures, put those in with it. So I always joke with my team and I tell them I'm a published photographer. Like I can take pictures. My pictures are published. And they always think I'm bugging out when I say that. But because I've written articles that are published and I use my own photos, they always like to have photos in articles. And I'm like, I have real photos, from what I'm doing. And they love it. And they publish it with my thing. I don't have to sign a release or anything because I took it. So I do sign it for them, but I don't have to like chase nobody down like the real photographer for that picture because I'm the photographer. All right, so listen. Capability statement. I never really heard of that before, but I think it would be very valuable to have a capability statement. I'm not going to go into too much detail about that because I'm still figuring out like where that would sit. So this woman that was talking about, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. She has a literal folder. It's a stay ready so you don't have to get ready folder with all of her business information in it. And I thought that was really cool. Yeah, let's see. Some more people came in. I'm sorry. Wow. Thank you. Her Proverbs 31 Homestead. I appreciate that. Hello to you. God bless you as well, for sure. Thank you. Coach Memory, you would love to see it. Thank you, Nancy, for speaking to everyone. Yes. So, let's see. I think for like a writing prompt, because it really made me think really hard, especially since I heard so much, learned so much today. And when they asked everyone to write one action step that I can do today, I think that's a great writing prompt. What is one action step that you can do today, or one action step that you will implement? Because what did you learn that's going to help you take an action step? That's first of all. What was that? And I just think that's powerful. It really makes you live your life with more intention because you're starting to look around and say, like, is this, because first of all, if you're not, experiencing things that's making you better, that is things that you want to implement into your life, things that you want to adopt into your life, then you're wasting your time. If people say, well, I haven't learned anything in a long time, then you need to change your circle. You need to step out of your comfort zone. You need to go and expand, meet different and new people. At this conference, there's women from all over the place. Buffalo, New York, Texas, California. I was looking around like, yo, I can't wait to, chop it up with all of you, because it's all about expanding your network so that if one day you want to be a subcontractor and they have they may do the heavy lift and find the contracts and they say, yo, can you do this? I know that you say you do it. Do you have the capacity, the time? That's the thing. But you have to meet more and different people to do that. Because maybe your circle is not on the same track as you. I'm saying that they're not on a good track. They just may not be on the same track or the type of track that you're on. And you don't want them to hold you back. You're not trying to hold them back, or are you? Are you trying to hold them back? If you're not trying to hold them back, then you shouldn't let them hold you back either. And that's really important. Let me see any other nuggets. No, not really, y'all. I just wanted, I didn't even really intend to share all of this with you so soon. I mean, literally I just walked out. But it might be for someone that needed to hear it. And I'm all about giving information. It's no need to keep it a secret. I couldn't give a lot of it because again, I wish I could have videotaped it, just like Loving Myself was asking, but it just wasn't, we couldn't. But I did take lots of notes. Hi, Patrick Sargent. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. So I hope that you all got a nugget or two from the information that I shared. And tomorrow is going to be a packed day from 9 to 7 p.m. I'm going to be up in the building. I am. I want to be there bright and early to glean everything. So I don't know if I'm going to go back because they have, it's called a black, like they want us to wear black with sequins and stuff. People, I didn't come last night and it was all pink. They wanted everybody. I don't even own pink like that. So if you know me, you know. But yeah, they wanted us to wear all pink last night. I didn't come. I didn't even have time to do it yesterday anyway. But tonight they want us to wear black glitter and like be blinged out and so we'll see. I do want to make some really strong connections. This is the time to do that. But tomorrow I was looking at the schedule and I'm like, well, if I'm gonna be here from 9 to 7 p.m., and I have a VIP ticket, so I'll have lunch and all that. I might, I think I'll be good with meeting some people tomorrow too. I met some good people today for sure. Oof. And I loved it. This is one of those, like, it's kind of an intimate conference. I want to say it's probably maybe 60 people, not 100, about 60 people here. And even the presenters are in the audience, just part of the situation. And the organizer had said, and it's decorated so beautifully. Once it's over and everything, I'll post pictures of the layout. I walked in, I was like, yo, this is nice. But the organizer said that she didn't tell the presenters what time they were going to present. Like, her agenda is vague. You don't know, like, you can't pick and choose when you're going to come, when you're going to leave, because you don't know what's coming next. And that's kind of cool, because when people know what's coming next, listen, I know I'm jumping topics. Let me just finish this because I'll forget. So that, she just told the presenters, I just need you to be there at X time, like when it starts, basically. And then when they hear her read their bio, they know they up next. And I was like, wow, that's a good idea. That's how you keep them there. But I was going to talk about the Essence Festival. I don't know if you have ever been. It's in New Orleans. It's every year around the 4th of July. And it is I don't know, I haven't been in many, many years. But back in the day, I need to get a Tic Tac or something. Hold on. Heck. I'm telling you, it must be the air in the car. It's so dry or something. Hold on. I mean, time out. I'm sorry. Okay. Lamia, hello to you. I love that. That's a really big smile. Hello. So listen. Oh, okay. Hello from Denmark, Lamia. Welcome in. That's beautiful. Denmark is a beautiful place. I've never been, but just seeing videos on YouTube. So New Orleans, they every year, 4th of July, Essence magazine, Essence, the business of Essence, whatever. Because this is a magazine. I think it still is a magazine. I'm sorry, I can't. I'm just put it down here. So they would have Essence Festival. And, we lived in New Orleans for 3 years. My husband played for the New Orleans Saints. My son was born in New Orleans. I found out I was pregnant with my 3rd child when we was visiting New Orleans. That's TMI. So listen. So every year we would have friends to come and they would stay with us, because they're going to the festival. The festival was a whole vibe. Back then, I was like, this is one of the best adult things you could do. It was so amazing. I loved it. I loved every minute of it. I loved the convention center, the different people they would have come to speak. I loved the concerts, the lineup. And I don't know if you've ever been to New Orleans and the Superdome is an enclosed football stadium, and they have suites all around the stadium. And in those suites, they would have B and C list artists performing, but then they had the main stage, and all of this was happening at the same time. So it was a vibe, people walking around, boom, boom. It didn't even matter where you got your seat. And I would tell people that all the time. I would say, don't even worry about, getting the best seat, because it don't matter where you sit. It's a vibe. You're gonna get up, you're gonna go to one of the suites to see, who would be a B thing, Carl Thomas, or back then even Eric Benet, so you would go and do all that. So you're walking. So because you knew the lineup, sometimes I wouldn't even go until like 10 o'clock at night, because that's when the people I want to see perform, that's when they're going to perform. And so talking about that and thinking about this conference, I like that she doesn't have the full agenda in terms of who is going to be speaking, what the topic is going to be. Let me see. Oh, I can't pull it up. It's on my phone. So that way, you don't you don't know who's coming up next. You don't know what the topic is, how relevant it's going to be for you. You just gonna stay and listen. And I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna start doing that when I put on stuff, because people, they just, you're doing it at 2 o'clock. All right, I'll be there at 2 then. No, I need you to be there at 8. I need you to be there at 8. So yeah, it is, Lamia, it is. And so in New Orleans, they have Bourbon Street. And so during the day, I mean, this was back in the day, so it's like a day party the whole time. Everyone's just flowing, talking, just having a good time. Music's playing. And then you go into the convention center, and they would have like cooking tutorials, and listen, even though I don't cook, listen, in my head, I'm low-key a chef, because I love cooking shows. I love seeing people put food together and stuff. I just can't do it. I don't have the patience to do it. So I would love to go and see the chefs come, and whoever the biggest chefs were back then, or even now, I suppose, would go, and they would have their whole situation up there. They would have people talking, panels, speakers and stuff like that. So you have, it's called Distoration. It's like that. Wow, I bet you that is. What time of year do you have that? That sounds really cool. What time of year is that? Oh, my phone is about to die. Hold on. I don't see how it's so fast. Let me try to I'm gonna try to plug it in. It's probably because it's hot. It's like 92 degrees. I don't want to hold it. Wait. Okay. Woo. So it's in Copenhagen. I've heard of Copenhagen too. I know that is like an amazing place to be. It's this week. Are you going? You should try to go. If you're not, and do you live far from there? Another great time to go to New Orleans is during their jazz festival. And the jazz festival is the last week of April and the last weekend of April and the first weekend in May. And it is really, really good. I always enjoyed that too. Oh, you lived there for a couple of years? Okay. I'm going to have to look up that festival and see some videos on it, because I would love to see it. I think that's a whole vibe when people can come together, and it's good, clean fun. It's nothing too crazy, and just really enjoy themselves. TLUC is here. Hello to you. Yes, I will. I definitely will. Definitely. So listen, I'm glad that you all came in, and I hope that the things that I shared with you, you found helpful. and will be able to, think about it for yourself, especially if you're in business. Even if you are, an employee, you're on the career path. It's all about how you're making ends meet for your family and what you're doing to continue your legacy and have purpose in life. And not saying that you have to work or have a business to have purpose in life, absolutely not. But these things can help you pivot in so many different ways. And again, not being afraid to pivot. Pivot is not failure. It's just, I'm doing something a little different now. That's all. I find that doctors and lawyers have a more challenging time when they are looking to pivot. I used to have doctors in some of my workforce development classes back in the day. And it was interesting because I would do career coaching with them as well. And they would always say, yeah, I went to school for this, but I just don't know if this is for me. And when I would do assessments, especially with the doctors, some of them, I found that they really wanted to go into teaching and training. And they said that's what they really prefer. They love teaching their patients, what to do better, how to live healthier, how to take care of themselves. But with the medical field and being a doctor, they didn't have that opportunity. They just go in, giving them the diagnosis, and then they leave. And then the nurses are left with them, or the PAs are left with them. And they were just not feeling as fulfilled in their field. And so, I always felt kind of bad. I mean, it's a twofold thing, right? When you go to college and you have your degree, a lot of people are not working in their degree. But if you go to college to be a lawyer or a doctor, the expectations for society is that that's what you're going to do. And especially because of the money you spend, the extra education you have to get. And then you have this lifestyle, then you have these student debts or whatever the case may be. And you just feel like you're stuck. And I just want everyone to know you're not stuck. You are not stuck. If you feel like, I did all of these, I went to school for 10 years for this, and I had to move my family all over the country to do, this type of residency or whatever. I was studying for the bar and I closed myself off from my family for so long. And this is really not what I want to do. It's not what it's turned out to be. And that's what one of the speakers was saying. She works for a large company. It's a lawyer, a law firm, a large corporate Fortune 100 law firm. And how the new lawyers that are coming in, they only stay in for like 2 years because the balance isn't there for them. They're feeling overwhelmed, overworked, overtaxed, and it's just hard trying to keep up with the lifestyle that quote unquote people think you're supposed to have with that. And that's another thing. Don't get caught up in what people think you're supposed to have. Do what you know you can afford and what you can do with your life. And T Luck is saying that she's pivoted big time from teacher to being a foster parent full time in a foster village. Wow, you're a foster parent now. That's amazing. Yes. You need workers and you pay well in Denmark, Lamia. That's good to know. Listen, if you could shoot me an email on some of the positions, because I also share different opportunities. I started doing that about 2 weeks ago, really good opportunities. And they don't just have to be in America. There's a lot of people that are looking to pivot outside of this country, into other places. They just don't know what that looks like. They don't know, like, how would they make money? How would they make ends meet? Oh, y'all, it's too hot. My car literally just cut off. I'm telling you, it's 92 degrees right now. It is 92 degrees right now. That was with my air conditioner on. My car said, you know what? You haven't been driving. You just using me. My car said, I'm using it. I'm gonna have to put my window down. Hold on. My goodness. Yes. It's hot. I have to get ready to go. That's what that means. Your minimum wage is $22. Okay. What does that convert into in American dollars? Or, do you use, what's your currency called in Denmark? What type of work are y'all looking for? Is it essential work like utilities, electricians, mechanics, and technology? What type of work is Denmark looking for? And what's the cost of living there? $22 is $140 an hour in Denmark. Okay. Is that good? Because sometimes even with the conversions, it's like you still live in, you can still afford the same thing. But that's good. All types of positions. Wow. So what's going on with the workforce in Denmark for them to need so many workers? Are they aging out? What are people that are coming out of high school? Are they going to college or they're not? What's the situation? Okay, 22 American dollars an hour. Okay. They're aging out. Yup. See, America's having the same problem. So Denmark would be considered European, right? Do y'all use apprenticeships? The apprenticeship model? The European apprenticeship model? Yeah. We are definitely up on that too here in the United States with people having less children. So what's going on with the apprenticeship system there? Let me chew this chick tap. What's going on with the apprenticeship system in Denmark? We are looking to hire 1 million registered apprentices in the U.S. That was something that was signed. I know that I'm part of the workforce that helps register occupations and identify what occupations need to be registered, and supporting those organizations, businesses that have registered apprenticeships. Excuse me. So you saying you have a unique problem because you learn lots of innovation in school, okay, but now we have too many firms, workplaces, and not enough workers. Yes, not enough skilled workers. I'm sure. High skill and low skill. Mm. So I wonder, I would love to talk to somebody in Denmark to see what are some of the strategies around that. Because I mean, I have some that we're using here, and I would love to talk to someone there if you could make that connection about, what we're doing here in North Carolina. I know, we're not, nothing fancy or anything, but, we basically killing the game. 5 million people? Wow. That's for the whole country? That's a little bit. That's a little bit. There's, I think Charlotte has almost we have 1 million people just in Charlotte. That's not even North Carolina. Wow. Yeah, so listen, my email address is info at coach COACH dash or hyphen Sherri SHERRI.com. So if you want to shoot me an email, if you know of anyone that you possibly would want to connect me with to talk about some strategies around workforce development and things that they may be able to do to help impact your workforce, to get people skilled up. Maybe you'll also need to start looking at AI and technology to help with that too. Anyone that's like a director for talent acquisition, a director for workforce development, if they have it, anyone that's involved with your apprenticeship programs, anyone in possibly HR, people that are at that table strategically that are trying to figure out how to hire, how to attract more people to do what you'll do, how to get them ready for the workforce. Yeah, I know, because AI can't do everything for human beings. It can't. There's things that we just will have to do, like, utility work, anything dealing with construction too, in many cases. It might, a technology might be able to speed the process up in terms of being more efficient with it and everything, but it still is going to need that human hand to do it. The Danish government? Okay. All right. I'm gonna write that down. And I'll look them up too. Thank you for that. Because, as it is, different parts of this country, they reach out to me regarding that. So, I mean, international is no different. We've had Germany come with their pre-apprenticeships to, think tank some things. So, the Danish government. I'll say Lamia sent me. Thank you. That would be awesome if, you know, we can do some things. That would be great. And they will respond. And you're also saying you can get a meeting with our politicians. Everyone can. Best thing about being a small country. That's so wild that you are 5 million in your whole country. Oh, I have to write that down. I don't even know what that word. Sometimes I wish, you know, I can hear your voice on YouTube. Because I wouldn't even know how to pronounce that, and I'm really bad at pronouncing certain things. So that looks like folk it tingit folk and folk itingit get folk folky tingit get. Okay, we're gonna see a video on jobs in Denmark. Yes, I'm telling you, so many people are looking. They're pivoting out of America to different countries, and why not Denmark? I mean, I know it's a very healthy country, and it's definitely not overpopulated. It doesn't sound like it. People's tingy parliament. Okay, let me write that down too. People's parliament. Oh, and good. They speak perfect English. That's good. People's thing. Parliament. And that actually was one of my goals, believe it or not, was to do things. I can deal with an accent. I have an accent. At least that's what